I've returned with a theory, and it's a redo. I'm Light Melody, and welcome back to Fire Emblem Theory. The game is Awakening, and today we will be continuing the redos with Inigo, and not Brady, and you will see why. But first up, I want to thank Caleb Catteray for this fan art of me and Morgan. Or is it Morgan and I? I know forming sentences is about as bad as my own pronunciation of things, but nevertheless, this is the most adorable piece of artwork and my very first fan art. I never in my life thought this would happen, but it did, and this made me very, very, very happy. I saw this when I was posting this picture of Morgan during a Splatfest with his account, and well, I really love this picture and I just had to gush about it. But moving on, reminder to all artists that like this series, if you want to submit artwork for this series of characters from Fire Emblem Awakening, because let's face it, not all of the characters have as much artwork or fan art as some of the more popular ones, and it makes this series a little hard to make interesting without artwork, because I like telling a story with these pictures if you haven't noticed. So if you want to have your artwork on here, send it to this email that's on the screen. So let's continue on with Inigo. So for those that are saying I forgot about recessive genes even in dark hair, or blue hair in some cases, I know. However, I will only consider recessive genes if we know about their other family members in this case. Those with recessive genes are Chrom, Lissa, Emran, and Robin. Why? Because Chrom is the only brunette and his sisters are blonde. Therefore, their father or mother was a brunette, but had a recessive gene of blonde, and the other parent could have been either a natural blonde or any other hair color, but had blonde as recessive gene. More than likely one of the parents is a blonde, just because it makes it a little bit easier for them to become blondes that way. And with Robin, well, both Robins at default are white-haired. Spoiler warning, just in case, Valadar is their father, who has black hair. Their mother, I'm going to presume, is the one with the white hair, which means Valadar has a recessive gene in his DNA for white hair. There will be some exceptions to these rules if I can see it being a possibility. Which, spoiler warning, yes. Yes, that is the case in this one. Okay, now on to the real part. Inigo, Olivia, it's time for round 2. Let's start this a little differently. So this is everyone Olivia can marry, including Chrom, but let's start with classes between everyone and then take a look at the growth rates of those remaining. So let's cross out Stoll, Henry, and Rickon. The only class Olivia and Inigo share is Myrmidon, because the other classes are female exclusive in Awakening, and it's not Fates. However, Inigo has the Mercenary and the Barbarian classes as default, so we're going to assume he gets this from his father. So first of all, who starts with the Mercenary class? That would be Gregor. Who has this as non-default? Donal, and that's pretty much it. Myrmidon? Only Lunku starts with it, and Gaius and Gregor have this as non-default. Barbarian? No one starts with this, but Vike and Gregor have it as non-default. Now that we know this, what about everyone else? Did we just cross them out?
Well, for Frederick and Keelam, they have dark hair, so they're out, and they have nothing in common with Inigo anyway. Varian is a brunette, so he's also out since it's a common color. That, and he also doesn't have any classes in common with Inigo anyway.
Wait, why are you an Inkling?
I might have been playing some Turf War before this.
Well, that explains the goggles. As for Chrom, true, he does have a recessive gene and could quite possibly be Inigo's father, especially considering purple is not that far from blue. But Inigo's hair is purple, and if you say they made it purple because a male with pink hair is distracting, no, it's more of an artistic choice, really. And, well, does Nikoji here look distracting with his pink hair? Does Malorxia from Kingdom Hearts look distracting with pink hair? Fuck no. Also, the fact that he can have pink hair if your male character marries Olivia and has pink hair, so there's also that. But if you mix red and blue, you do get purple. Olivia's hair is a shade of red and Chrom's hair is blue, but I still stand with the facts from Fates. If you give Lasso the Fire Emblem accessory, he will say that he can't do the ritual. Yes, it could be just a simple reference to the support with Lucina that she has with her siblings where they try to see if they can wield Falchion. But I think it's more than likely he can't really do it because he is not a person with Exalt blood. In fact, if you give this to Owain, who we know for sure has Exalt blood in him, he just says it looks like his country's treasure. With Severa, she says she knows it's fake, but it brings back some memories. Inigo's reaction to it is a bit more frantic, a bit PTSD-ish, considering his adventure in Fates is not too long after the fight with Grima. That's why I think he says he can't perform the ritual, why he has the reaction he has. That's why I think Chrom is out, but if you think it's because he can't use Falchion like in the convos, it's your choice. I'm just going off my creativity senses at this point. We can also cross out Libra. He has nothing in common with Inigo, and if we ended up mixing his hair color with Olivia, it will give us something of a light-ish red or strawberry blonde. But if we assumed both Olivia and Libra had a purple recessive hair color somewhere in their DNA, it might be possible, but he's still doesn't have anything in common with Inigo.
On that note, we can say the same for Vike. So, we're left with Long Q, Donald, Gaius, and Gregor. Is Gregor the most likely candidate? Possibly, since he shares every single class with Inigo. But then there's growth rates. With comparing Inigo and Olivia...
Well, before that, do you want to know why I used to base growth rate with the children? Because for the actual rates, you need both the mother, the child, and the father. And since we're trying to figure out the father, it doesn't make a lot of sense to use the actual formula for this because in the end, it is all random as hell. This is also why I don't use any skulls for comparison because almost everybody can become whatever class they want to in Awakening, minus the female exclusive roles. So I only use the default 3 that they are allowed to become. So then, comparing Inigo and Olivia, Olivia is better in HP, strength, magic, skill, and speed. Inigo beats Olivia in luck and defense, and they are equal in resistance. Now, let's compare Donald and Long Q. Donald and Long Q's magic are lower than Olivia, Donald has higher luck than Olivia, Long Q has higher defense than Olivia, and Donald has the same resistance as Olivia and Inigo. Now, onto Gaius and Gregor. Gaius has lower magic, higher defense, and equal resistance like Olivia. Gregor has lower magic and skill than Olivia. So, where does this leave us? Donald has 3 in common with Inigo, Long Q has 2 in common with Inigo, Gaius has 3 in common with Inigo, and Gregor has 2 in common with Inigo. And with that, Donald, Long Q, and Gaius all have 1 class in common with Inigo, while Gregor has all 3. So the tally with each of them is Donald 4, Long Q 3, Gaius 4, and Gregor with 5.
Does that mean it's Gregor?
If we assume he has a recessive gene of purple, possibly.
But what about Long Q? He's known Olivia for a long time.
That's also true. He also has the least in common. I guess I have to look at all the convos, don't I? Cue montage! No, not really. I'm not gonna do a montage. So let's look at both Gaius and Donald. With Gaius and Olivia's support, of course, it involves sweets like 99% of his supports do, but Gaius is making pies, so he has Olivia taste them. The first one is just a bit overbearing with sugar, and Olivia kind of points out everything wrong with it. Though Gaius says it's fine, and now he knows to go easy on the sugar. Then he asks Olivia to try his pies again. The next time, he comes with another pie for Olivia to taste. Olivia tastes it and says that it isn't bad, but asks Gaius why he asked her specifically to taste the pie. Gaius says it's because she's a dancer, so she has a sensitive soul, aka Olivia would actually be able to taste things better than someone in the army who would just eat anything and probably can't tell between the flavors of savory and sweet. Think that's what they call a sensitive palate? Which, if Gaius is cooking anything, I think you would need that ability because he is bound to put too much sugar in everything and he wouldn't even notice since he has quite a sweet tooth. Olivia calls him out on saying some bad stuff about some people, even if it is true, though laughs at it, enjoys herself a bit. Gaius then says he'll need her help again as he's still working on the recipe. The next time he gives Olivia a pie, she loves it and wishes there was more of it. Gaius is happy she liked it and that he finally found a good recipe. Olivia, however, asks why he makes pies when resources to make them are hard to come by. He says he likes the challenge and loves the smiles he brings to his comrades when he brings them a snack. Olivia doesn't seem to think he's completely honest, but asks him to bring him another pie to her when he makes it to test his honesty. And in the S support, more pie eating! Who would have guessed? I'm starting to think Olivia has as much as a sweet tooth as Gaius. Or his pies are absolutely fucking delicious, and if that's the case, I want some. Especially if they are pumpkin pie. Anyway, so he's trying a bit of a new recipe, and Olivia is taking her time eating it. She says she likes it and he shouldn't change a thing. So he suggests another slice, and she takes it. When she takes a bite, she hits something hard and finds a ring. Very, very classy, Gaius. Olivia says it's unsanitary, and Gaius didn't quite think about that, but said he wanted to propose to her with it since she likes his pies so much. And he kinda kept making them, and while making them, he kept thinking of her. And eventually, Olivia agrees to be his wife. Now, on to Olivia and Donald. Donald was singing a ballad while working, I'm assuming, and Olivia joins him while startling him at the same time. Good job. She states it's her favorite ballad to him and to dancers who one day want to be the white swan in a dance for it. Donald says it's a sad song and he feels down when he sings it because of the journey the white swan princess has to take to go meet the black swan prince one last time, but while she's gone, her entire home and kingdom was wrecked and in flames by evil swans. However, Olivia points out that that isn't the end of the song. Donald is surprised, and Olivia tells him the rest of it. One explanation later, and Donald said it isn't a sad song and likes it even more now that he knows the full song, and thanks Olivia for telling him. Next time, Donald comes to Olivia saying that it is actually a sad song since the princess's kingdom was torn apart and the song never says anything about rebuilding it. Olivia says she never thought of it, but it puts the last bit of the dance in a new light for her. As she says the dance for it confused her a bit, but Donald seemed to give her the answer. Because they were in an embrace, I'm gonna get that right, embraced, the princess and the prince, it was slow but also sad, which you know if you were hugging someone after finally finding them after a long time, you would be happy. Olivia never thought why it was sad, but it was because the princess lost so much on the way to happiness, and there may be even some regret instead happiness because of what happened to her home and people. With this information, she says she might be able to give the dance a few new steps, I'm assuming, and Donald said he'd pay to see it, which Olivia gives her a common excuse of she needs more practice and Donald is willing to wait for it. And next in A, Olivia asks Donald to watch her dance the ballad. Donald is excited since it means she's done practicing, but Olivia says she can't dance without music and asks him to sing it. Even though he knows parts of the song, she said she'd fill in what lyrics he doesn't know. And so they sing, and when it ends, Donald is done saying that it was the prettiest thing he's ever saw. So much so, he's crying. And so is Olivia, because they both believe Olivia was the White Swan Princess. Olivia denying compliments as their nature, and Donald says he'd watch her dance all day and asks if she could. only for her to say she might once more. And while Olivia finishes her dance in S support, might be the same day, or a few days later, let's say a few days later because I think it fits better in this case, Donald is stunned and silent and Olivia tries to get his attention. Olivia asks if her dancing was bad. Donald says no and says he can't stop looking at her while dancing, like he's hypnotized, and he gets kinda teary-eyed imagining Olivia as the princess and he the black swan. And that leads to him proposing to Olivia. It's not the most expensive ring, but Olivia is happy nonetheless and accepts it. Here, I have to say, I really like this conversation. Between these two, if I had to guess which one of them would be Inigo's father, as much as Donald could be his due to his hair, it might be Gaius. Since Inigo has both confidence and modesty from his mother, his confidence he gained after his parents' death from his father. Sure, Donald has confidence after his village was attacked and left his mother to help Crom out. In his supports, he's also modest around people, but not to the extent of Olivia though. So now, onto Longue versus Gregor. Longue is up first since he and Olivia should have some kind of history together. Kinda, I mean, you have one who is extremely shy and the other who just doesn't like women. Is that ever explained? Oh wait, it is. Okay. Longue was practicing a move he saw Basilio do a few times, cutting a water jug with his sword without shattering it or dropping any water. Olivia, being Olivia, was watching from a distance. When he fails, she says it's too bad. Longue is a bit unnerved by this, and Olivia apologizes and says Basilio has practiced that trick before many times, and Longue is determined to master it. Longue says he has power, accuracy, and speed, but is lacking something. Olivia says power may have nothing to do with the trick at all, since Basilio barely swings his sword. Longue is a bit surprised she's observed Basilio so closely, and asks her to watch him do the same trick and see what he's doing wrong, while, staring very, very far away from him. So, as he keeps on practicing, the jar keeps shattering over and over and over again. Olivia suggests a break since dinner is almost over. Olivia gets a little too close, so Longue tells her to not step closer and also that he isn't hungry and to give his plate to someone else. Olivia isn't keen on the idea but points out he's probably alright with not eating since Basilio said many times that he has a lot of self-discipline. Longue asks if it's true and Olivia says Basilio talks about him a lot as a genius and a true rival. So much so that he talks to anyone about it and everyone is quite bored of him talking about Longue over and over again. Anyone else imagining a very drunk Basilio talking about Longue till he passes out? Anyway, this convinces Longue to go and eat. And we come back to even more sword swinging on this one jar. Longue has a lot of determination, I noticed. But he does start to lose faith on ever mastering this trick, to which Olivia reminds him of Basilio's words, and Longue can only say that they are meaningless, pointless flattery. Olivia tries to give him more faith in himself, to which Longue realizes that he has a weak heart, no courage. But Olivia takes Longue's hand and tries to help him relax. He understands what she's trying to do, but asks for her to step aside again. But this time he at least knows to relax a bit. At least a bit more than usual. And does he accomplish this in the end? Yes, but you'd only know this if they get married. Olivia is happy and grabs Longue's hands in joy, only to remember he doesn't like being touched, but Longue doesn't mind this time. He thanks her for helping him master this trick, and that she makes him stronger and proposes to her, and like all S supports, Olivia says yes. On to Gregor. Olivia brings Gregor dinner, if he wants it, and Gregor, being a big man, says he's always hungry and asks if it was her turn to cook. Olivia says it's her first time cooking and asks if he doesn't like the food to tell her. However, Gregor recognizes the dish as liver stew and surprises Olivia since it's a dish mainly from Ferox. So, it seems Gregor also has a connection to Ferox. But as a mercenary, it should be expected he's tasted food from different places. But Gregor has a secret spice that makes the stew taste better. He adds it and has Olivia taste it. She says it really does taste better even though he added a tiny bit. So she asks if she could have some, but unfortunately for Olivia, Gregor doesn't have any more of the spice and it takes a while to make. I have a feeling about this, I don't know what it is. Anyway, Olivia asks if she can help him gather ingredients. Gregor thinks it's a great idea and asks her to come find him when she's done cooking for the camp. Assuming a day has passed, because I don't think they would be foolish enough to do this at night, Gregor asks Olivia if today was a good day to go looking for the ingredients deep in the woods. Since it's a long trip, he suggests they take a lunch with them, and Olivia suggests she makes sandwiches, but Gregor, being a gentleman, won't let her make them all on her own. That's kinda sweet. So, they make them, and they have a basket filled with them. Olivia says she's bad at making sandwiches, but Gregor is confused because Olivia considers herself very clumsy and bad at cooking, but Gregor says that she's a fine cook in reality. This cheers up Olivia and says people usually don't tell her this, and Gregor says to ignore those people and to listen to him. He even goes so far as to say that she is a lovely cook and dancer and that she'd make a fine wife. Gregor is smooth as fuck, and like always, a wild, embarrassed Olivia appears. In the end, she thanks him for the compliments. On to A. Olivia was looking for Gregor and found him, but he notices she looked like she is about to yell at him. That's because it seems Gregor has hurt himself, since he looked like he was limping. Gregor takes it as spying, but Olivia points out she's a dancer, so she notices people's movements or body language easier than others. Gregor admits he is injured, and Olivia takes a look at his back, to which the first thing she sees is the bone? Okay, Gregor, how the fuck are you walking around with a bone exposed through a wound? Damn it, I'm imagining it. Okay, moving on. Moving on from that thought. He also claims his lip fell off once and sewed it back to, Is that possible? Anyway, he's fine with Olivia nursing him. But, just like me, Olivia thinks it's hard to look at. I don't blame you, Olivia. But she tries her best to take care of this very deep wound. Gregor tries... I can't stop thinking about it. Gregor tries to stay still since it stings, and Olivia tells him to stay still or it will feel worse, which I imagine it would already be feeling really, really bad at this point. But he says he feels better after what Olivia just did, but she still suggests that he go to one of the healers in case she missed something. And finally, in S support, Gregor brought Olivia something. A pouch of his spice blend. Olivia takes it and thanks him, but she notices that something hard is in the bag. She sees it's a ring and assumes it must have fell off when Gregor was grinding the spice. Gregor clarifies that it's for her, only for Olivia to say that she can't take it because it looks rather expensive. He then clarifies even more that he put it in the bag on purpose, saying he went to dangerous places getting spices that are expensive, sold them, and then bought the ring. Putting it together, Olivia figures that's how he hurt his back. And the reason is... a slippery rock and a very, very pissed squirrel. Oh my god, Gregor. She says she's sorry for him going through that, only to have a reply that he would face an army of pissed squirrels. Damn it, Gregor, I liked you before, but I like you more now. An army of pissed squirrels, okay. But apparently, Olivia is the first woman he truly loves. You'd figure he'd been around a bunch of women as a mercenary for hire, but I doubt he stayed with them for as long as he has with Crom's army. Olivia She's a little hesitant to say yes right away and throws Gregor off for a bit, but when she says her head is swirling in different directions, Gregor points out she already knows the answer, and it is a yes. So with that, we have to decide between Long Q and Gregor. Honestly, I'm leaning towards Gregor. Sure, Long Q and Olivia are both from Ferox, or at least worked under Basilio. But considering their position, I figure Olivia is always with Basilio, and Long Q, being quite distant and such, would be off training or in the barracks and wouldn't have interacted much with Basilio's people, much less Olivia, until joining our Crom's army. And yes, the convo is nice and cute at some points, but if we were to compare Inigo's personality with both Olivia and Long Q, like we did with Olivia and Donald, I kind of feel like Long Q's quirks of being nervous around women kind of defeats Inigo's flirtatious flair that he has. Yes, the Olivia of Inigo's timeline helped him overcome his shyness by talking to girls, but you'd think their father would help as well. And Long Q wouldn't cut the case. And since the classes of Myrmidon and Mercenary are quite different, considering their choices of weapon are also different and their movement as well, Long Q doesn't fit even more. So I'm sorry if you like this pairing, I can see this happening as well, but for this, I don't think it's right. In the end, we are left with Gaius and Gregor, the Sweet Tooth versus the Sellsword. Still leaning towards the Sellsword. Not only does he match Inigo in all classes, is actually really smooth with women, the most in common with Inigo's growth rates, and assuming both Olivia and Gregor have a recessive trait of purple hair, which would be much rarer than pink and orange, then Gregor would quite possibly be Inigo's father. Sometimes I wonder why I choose to have this four-way race, but it was probably worth it in the long run. And also I'm going to stop here because if I continue with Brady, this video might be 40 minutes long, and I'd rather save those minutes for that blind playthrough of Danganronpa V3 in a few days. But don't worry, I will get to Brady, and then we will keep on going with Cynthia and whoever else is left on the shipyard wheel. I will keep pumping these out, it just took me a while. So if you like this video, I suggest you go check out the other theories that I did. My voice is so raspy right now. Gah. If you like this, go check out the other theories that I've done. You could check out the Morgan Twins theory. You could check out the Noir theory, or whatever else is on my channel. Let's see, there's a few Splatoon videos on there because I'm really into Splatoon right now. It's a fantastic game. If you happen to run into me in Splatoon 2, be it Inter 4 or Ranked, I'm pretty sure you're going to get demolished by my Octobrush. If you want to listen to more of the ideas that my head can come up with, or you just want to listen to more of my actual voice acting, then please head over to HarmonyNet Studios and listen to the audio series Ties of Fate. Ties of Fate is a fictional story that has been inspired by many things, including Fire Emblem. It's been going on for about 2 years now, so I suggest if you really want to listen to something while doing work, this is your probably best bet. It won't be too distracting. Hopefully it won't be too distracting. And lastly, if you want me to continue doing this, I have a Patreon. Now, I don't have this set up now because I am not absolutely sure on this one choice that I have in my life right now, but I might be going back to college. And I mean for real this time. I mean, I only did 1 semester in community college and I thought I was not going anywhere, so I have found some other place where I can actually do the degree that I'm thinking of doing, which, if you haven't guessed from the amount of videos that I have in my channel, it is obviously going to be something related to animation, because that is my passion, and I want to learn how to animate and, you know, finally bring my characters to life. But with that said, I will leave you to expect the Brady redo theory in a few days, and also expect Danganronpa V3 blind playthrough coming in next week. I haven't figured out the schedule for that. Anyway, bye-bye. I'll see you next time for Brady, and then Cynthia, and then the shipyard wheel. Bye-bye.